Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Journey to Becoming Head Coach. As always, I'm Jeff Freeman. Thank you all for those that are joining me today. And I apologize for not getting any videos out last week. It was a very busy, crazy week. A lot of things going down. A lot of administrative and things that I kind of had to take care of. So, and had some family things I had to take care of as well. So, got kind of logged down and things like that. But back again. Got a video today. Got another video coming out Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to go over pass protections on Thursday. So just kind of different looks and things like that. So, but as far as what's going on right now with the current status, again, I like to say I'm in year 2.5 because we're not quite at year 3 because we're not quite done with year 2. I know, our school has pretty much said we're done with our season. We're moving on. We're in the off season. We're not, we're not having a season, so on and so forth. Well, then for those of you that haven't seen, this came out on February 19th. Good old Governor Newsom decided to says high contact sports can participate as long as their case numbers are basically at or equal to or less than 14 per 100,000. So even in purple or red, you can play games because it's not going by the positivity rate. It's going by the case numbers. And for those of you that have followed along with me, there's been kind of a weird discrepancy that I noticed. And again, someone might correct me and say, no, that's not how they're doing it. But in the very beginning, from August to December, it appeared to me that that's the number they were following when it came to schools was the number per 100,000. Now, when it comes to who they're opening and who's getting into red, it looks like they're following the positivity rate. But when it comes to sports, you're following the cases per 100,000. So I think my big confusion with everything here is the lack of information, the lack of transparency, and just the overall lack of leadership from the top down when it comes to our governor and things like that, and the health departments, everything else, because it seems like they use one number for one thing, positivity rate for another, and then depending on what county you go to, they use both, and you have to be in both metrics to get to red. But like if you go on that map and just play around, you'll see like some are in a red tier, but they got numbers above 7 or 8, which would technically put them in purple, but their positivity rate is so low. And then you got other ones that are flipped. So it's a weird dynamic that I've noticed. And I was like, and I'll keep track of some counties. And I've noticed like in 2 weeks that technically based on one number, they should be in red, but another number, they should be in purple. And then you got some people that are all the way down in orange in positivity rate, but because their case per 100 is so high, they put them in red. And then other counties, that's not the case. So it's a weird. It's one of those things. There's not a lot of transparency, in my opinion. Some of you might say, "Yeah, you just got to look harder," which is fine if that's the case. Fine, point me to the information that tells you this. But in any case, he came out with that announcement. Then teams must test, and results are supposed to be available within 24 hours. Now, who's paying for these tests? Supposedly they're getting provided, but then I hear things like, "Nope, the school's got to pay for it. Nope, the government's going to take care of it." Well, which one is it? And then who's going to pay for it? And then not only that, like, okay, where the kids got to go? Where are the student athletes going to go to get the test? And then, okay, so you play on a Friday night, your results are back in by Saturday night, and you got 3 guys that have tested positive. So now supposedly not only that team is done, but now the team they played is done because now there's contact tracing and everything else. So it's going to be interesting. There's supposed to be games played this week. I just saw on social media before I jumped on here, St. Mary's going to be playing De La Salle this Friday. So I was like, whoo, that's going to be a good game. And the other thought process is, well, how is the testing really going to be taken care of after that? We'll see. And then players can participate in 2 sports at once. And there was always like, well, you can play high school, but you can't play club. You can play club, but you can't play high school. Well, then if you play out 2 sports, you can't play 2 sports because you got a cohort as a team. So basically all the rules got kind of thrown out the window because originally you were supposed to cohort with your team. So if you're playing football, that was your team. That was your cohort was football. And now if you're playing baseball, that's supposed to be your cohort. But now that's been thrown out the window. So now you can play baseball and track. So now you're mixing cohorts. I assume that was to help with the smaller schools, the Division 5, 6, and 7s that were going to lose out on teams because they just don't have the sheer numbers to field all those teams. Whereas Divisions 1, 2, and 3, 4, I think depending on the school was kind of in the middle where Division 4 might be able to do it, but maybe not. Then Division 5, 6, and 7, that was going to be rough for you to field a football team, a track team, a cross-country team, a volleyball team, a boys volleyball team, a girls volleyball team, a girls baseball, a girls softball, boys baseball, all that at once. So I think they decided to say you can play 2 sports at once to allow these smaller schools to do that. That's my guess. I don't know. And now, of course, you already saw there's indoor, and they're talking about allowing indoor already. So the rules are just kind of getting thrown out the window. And again, you could say it's because, well, the science is saying you can do that, or, well, maybe it's political pressure because Gavin Newsom's like this close to getting recalled. Supposedly that's moving forward, so who knows if that's what he's doing, and he's just trying to appease everyone so he doesn't get recalled when the election happens. I don't know. I just know this is the announcement that came out, and now it has caused me a slight headache, and I'll explain why. So as soon as this announcement came out, I hit up my administration. I said, hey, do we want to revisit football coming back? Because, all of a sudden, literally within 12 hours, there were people hitting me up to schedule games. There were people hitting me up, be like, hey, we got to schedule this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, we're in off-season mode, man. We're done. I was like, I don't think we're going to come back. I think our kids have moved on. Everybody's done. So as just a way to just see what the students and the parents wanted, I sent out a survey on our band app. So I sent that out that day to the entire football program. I sent it out through band. I sent it out through Google Classroom, all that stuff for the players to fill out. There was over 85 players that I reached out to. So just asking basically, hey, if we could have a season, you want to have a season, you want to play 2 or 3 games, do you want to come out, do you want to do that? Just kind of asking, were you worried about COVID? Are you not worried about COVID? Because again, depending on what their situation is, maybe they don't want to come out because they're still worried about COVID, which is a fair assessment. You can be, again, especially if you live with, people that are above the age of 65 that are vulnerable to it or have comorbidities, lung, heart conditions, stuff like that. The individuals that, should be concerned about COVID. So sent that out. And I said, hey, I need the results by Monday because my plan was to meet with admin Monday or Tuesday and be like, okay, here's the results. I told them about the survey. I said, hey, look, I'm not trying to undermine anything. I just want you to know I sent this survey out because I feel like I need to do something. So then that way, at least this way, we're covering, saying, hey, we reached out to everyone. We asked, do you want to have a season? Do you want to keep going or is everyone pretty much done? And this is leading into more craziness, but the results basically out of 80 kids, out of 85 players, we had about 35 filled out, and we couldn't field one team with those results. We couldn't field the freshman team, we couldn't field the JV team, we couldn't field the varsity team. So unfortunately, by that Tuesday, those were the results I shared with our athletic director and our principal. There was like, hey, then we're going to stay the course. It looks like they moved on. They want to go to baseball. They want to go track. They want to put their eggs in one basket and move on to basketball and wrestling and everything else. So it's like, all right, cool. So sent out that email. Well, then the floodgates opened up because then that week, which would have been literally that last week in February, kind of first week in March, everyone is sending out this schedule, that schedule. Okay, we're going to play this. And I got hit up from people that are 2 counties over, which, I still haven't really seen where it says that that's okay. I thought everyone still had to follow the county line piece. But now I'm seeing some schedules where people are trying to hit me up and we're a county and a half over, and it's like, well, wait, you're supposed to just play people that are allowed in your county. I didn't see that got taken out, and maybe it did. Maybe someone's gonna write out, no, Freeman, that got taken out. You're wrong, which is fine. I don't have a problem being wrong. I'm just saying when I first read it, I didn't see that. I thought you still had to play people inside your county and people that bordered your county. I didn't realize, we're out here, then we can go down and play, Sac County or go down a little bit farther and play some different counties or go farther north and play, Shasta County and stuff like that. I didn't think we can go up that high. But apparently that might be a deal. So, because I was getting hit up by teams and I was like, well, wait, there's a county in between us. I didn't think we could do that. In any case, again, the results didn't come in. Well, then all of a sudden later that week, I got hit up by a couple parents saying, well, hey, I'm noticing that, this school, which is in our same county, put together a 5-6 game schedule. And they're like, well, how come we didn't do that? And I go, well, we could have. They're like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, I sent out that survey to get results and ask. And basically the reasoning I got was just a lot of parents and players thought the rug was going to be pulled out from under them because what we had been doing since June is I had been pushing, we're going to play. And every time we would get close, something would happen. So, we started out in June. We're like, I was like, yeah, no, we'll play in September, October. We got this. We're fine. I'd rather be prepared than not prepared. Well, then all of a sudden, July 20th hits, they push everything into the spring. So that was the first rug pull. Then we're sitting here, we're practicing. We come back, September, we take the month of August off like we planned to when that July 20th announcement came out. We didn't want to overwork our kids, so we gave them the month of August off. Come back in September, we practice September, October, November. Then everybody got shut down in December because of that rise, starting right around the week of the election. And again, you can debate that till the cows come home, whether that was political or not, that there just so happened to be a rise right as the elections happened. Again, I've had plenty of debates with that with several people, but it is what it is, and I've argued both sides, so I don't really have a side on it. I just try to find the truth in it. So in any case, then we get shut down in December. Well, then the rug gets pulled out from under them again. So that's twice it's been pulled out. So they start getting, as they should, they start getting down and says, no, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. If anything, we'll be pushed back till February. We'll be fine. Well, then then that tier system came out where you had to get to orange. Once that came out, that was the third and final shot. So our kids had already had the rug pulled out from under them 3 times. And I get it. I understand it. And then the let them play movement came out. And, I wish I would have heard about that movement back in June. I wish that movement would have came out back in June. Hell, the one thing I look back, maybe I should have started that movement back in June. Maybe I should have pushed for that and try to create a Facebook group and all this stuff. Maybe I should have done that because maybe my kids would have been more enticed to stay. So, but in my opinion, that was too little too late to keep our kids going because we had already practiced a full season basically from June all the way till February. And again, looking back, maybe that's the one thing I shouldn't have done. But I wanted my kids out exercising, not just sitting in their house doing stuff like this when we're on Zoom, just talking back and forth and, talking what we're going to do. I wanted to be out there and coaching them and building relationships and keeping an eye on them because their grades were going up when they came out. Now, all of a sudden, I'm looking at their grades now and they're just tanking. Like a couple of my players I'm still trying to get a hold of. So, I mean, that's just kind of the way it is, trying to check in on them. But that's my one regret as a coach, just kind of looking back, is maybe I started too early and maybe I pushed too hard. But again, hindsight's always right. Captain Hindsight for you South Park fans out there, he's always right. Captain Hindsight's never wrong. So again, I don't regret what I did, but kind of looking back on it, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I guess I should have pushed a little bit for this, or maybe I should have came up with that movement. I thought I was doing enough by talking to our local paper. I was posting stuff all over social media about how we were practicing. We were fine. We had over thousands of visits because we had 100 players at the time from June on through. And, we had over 1,000 visits, blah, 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 and no COVID positives, nothing traced back to our team. And it just, things just kept getting pulled out from the rug. And maybe I wasn't vocal enough. So in any case, parents started asking, parents started reaching out to admin. And then as of last Friday, I met with them. We decided to stay on the off-season track on that Tuesday. So that would have been the 20th, my first 20. That would have been February 23rd. We decided to stay on our track that, hey, we're done. We're staying in off-season mode. We didn't get enough results. We don't have enough to field a team. We're moving forward. So that was kind of the discussion, and that was the announcement I put out to the players and the parents, like, hey, due to the lack of response, we're not moving forward. We're going to stay in off-season mode, and we'll get ready to start fundraising, and we'll get ready to start practice May 3rd for spring ball for anyone that's not in a sport. So that was the plan. That was the plan moving forward. Well, then that Friday, again, like I said, a parent reached out to me, and a few parents reached out, actually, and started saying, hey, well, why is so-and-so putting a schedule together? I go, well, they can. Well, can we? And I said, well, it's kind of late now. That was the whole point of the survey. I was trying to reach out, and then parents said, well, we were disgruntled based on the 3 times I told you the rug already been pulled out from underneath them. So they were disgruntled. They weren't happy, parents and players. So I was like, well, I understand that. I was like, but, that was kind of our one-shot deal. And I was like, and now if we try to put things together, I don't even know who we play because everyone's kind of scheduling stuff now. So I don't even know who we play. And I don't know if the people that are left are people we want to play based on size and, whatever. We're Division 5 school. I don't know if we want to play Division 1, 2, or 3 teams yet. I don't know if we're ready for that, especially since our kids have basically taken off most of February. Like, we're pretty close to where we've taken a month off because we had that President's Week, that February 5th, and we pretty much stopped that week. So we've almost had a month off with no practice, no conditioning, no nothing. As far as a football team that we've conditioned at 4 p.m. and all of our other players have gone to other sports. But, I mean, we haven't had 30 kids in the weight room. I know that for a fact. We've averaged, 12 to 15. And there's plenty of students out there that aren't working out right now and aren't playing another sport. So I don't even know what we would look like coming back after a month off. So that's kind of that's starting to happen. And then again, the schedules and players' reactions. Schedules start coming out, and some of you have seen they're coming out left and right from all over the place, up north, down south, everywhere in between, Bay Area, all that stuff. Everything's coming out, and players are starting to ask, well, coach, what if we got players together? I'm like, guys, we had that time, we had that shot. I gave you an opportunity. I try to have you guys respond, and kind of the same kind of thing. Oh, well, we didn't think it was going to happen, but I was like, well, guys, I'm like, that's the whole reason we were practicing from June to September in the event it was going to happen, in October, November in the event it was going to happen. And yeah, I kept getting pulled out from underneath this, and yeah, that sucked. But the players and parents spoke late January, early February, basically saying, hey, we're moving on to baseball and track and cross country and everything else. We're moving on. So it's like, okay, well, that's your choice. You want to make that choice. We were down literally between freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors, 4 classes. We were down to under 20 kids right around that first week of February. So I was like, well, we got 20 kids. They're all 3 different levels. It's like, let's just move in off-season mode. So, and then this past Friday, I had players pull me aside in our Zoom meeting. I was like, hey, we want to put a team together. We got 24 players. What do you think we need to do? I'm like, I would love to do it, but you got to go through admin now. I'm like, you got to talk to the school. You got to get them to get on board with it because it might just be too little too late. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I was like, there's no one left to play. Like, everyone has got schedules out. I'm like, there's one other team across the river here, across us, kind of our rival, that also is kind of moved into off-season mode that, like, maybe, but if they don't want to play, they don't want to play. And then after that, I don't know who we schedule. And we still got to do 2 weeks of acclimation. So I said our best case scenario was March 26th. And every time, it gets pushed back, that's 1 week later. And so it was one of those things, like, now it's a catch-22 of, okay, well, we had a shot. We didn't take it. Now players are starting to see, oh, well, it could have happened. And now it's that, well, let's put it together and let's go. Now it's, again, it just might be too little too late. So I do know some of the players had reached out to admin over the weekend. I have not heard from anybody yet. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I'm kind of expecting, me personally, I'm expecting to stay in off-season mode. If we move into where, hey, we're going to try and put something together in 3 weeks, then so be it. And what I mean, and the reason I say 3 weeks is because we'll have to get our 2-week acclimation. We'll have to scrimmage somebody, and then we'll have to scrimmage a game. We'll have to plan some games from then on in. So, I mean, when you're looking at timeline-wise, I mean, best case scenario, we get going March 15th. We got to get our 2 weeks of acclimation, get our 15 days in. So best case, we could scrimmage somebody April 3rd, and then we could play the 9th and the 16th. So that's our best case scenario, is to get 2 games in, and that would be our best case scenario at that point. So I just don't see it. The schedule now, again, too little too late. And again, maybe it boils down to, players and parents, not looking at that survey, and maybe me not communicating it right. I don't know. Maybe it was kind of a thing on both ends. But at the same time, it's just one of those things, there wasn't a big push, and there hasn't been a big push. There's been a couple parents that have reached out and a couple players that have reached out. And I mean, now we got 24 players that want to play, and we'll see what happens from there. But this is where we're at right now. So Popcornopolis sale starts March 19th with a physical brochure and an online piece. I foresee that's happening. Seas Candy did the same thing. They're like, hey, here's a physical piece if you want to go door to door, but here's also an online piece that you can share a link. So Popcornopolis has done the same thing. Popcornopolis has been a fantastic fundraiser for us. We were on our way to making $6,000 last year before COVID, and we only ended up making about $3,500. So, and again, that was $1,000 more than we made the year before. So, I mean, it's going up, which is nice. And then this online piece is going to open up doors for us, as far as, now it's not just people in our county or people in our immediate cities or neighboring counties. Now I can hit up people down south. I can hit people in other states. We can raise money as far as the eye can see. That's kind of the nice piece about this online fundraiser. So, and again, like I had covered, players are not asking for a season with 24 varsity players. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Again, I'm expecting to be told we're staying in off-season mode, but we'll see. And again, the issues are, not sure we're going to be able to play, and not sure if the school is going to restart football. That's really what it boils down to. I don't know. I can't say that we will. I can't say that we won't. Do I want it to happen? I wanted it to happen back in June. I wanted it to happen back in July, August, September, October, November, December, and January. Now I'm looking at it. It's like I still want it to happen, but now it's kind of, okay, we're going to get together for 2 games, and who are we going to play? That's what it boils down to. I mean, yeah, I'd love to send those seniors off the right way, but I just don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I still don't even know about the testing piece. The testing piece is a whole nother shebang. Kind of like, okay, well, what are we going to do on that front? Like, what are we honestly going to do on that front? How are we going to put the testing together? So, we'll see. We'll see on that front. I don't know. I kind of have an idea in the back of my head. I'm going to probably reach out to admin and see what we can do on that front. But yeah, I got an idea in the back of my head, actually, as I was kind of going through this video and kind of putting this PowerPoint together. I had an idea pop in my head, but I'm going to reach out to admin and see what they think about it. And then from there, just, see what happens. So again, thank you all so much for the support. I wish you all the best of luck. All of you that are playing, good luck this Friday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be great. Push limits and hold the line. And have a great day.